All right, well, welcome to Lesson 13 preview video. The lesson objective for this Lesson 13, students will divide decimals by single-digit whole numbers involving easily identifiable multiples using place value understanding and relate it to a written method. Now we're starting to get into the point where they need to know their basic math facts. This is the reason I stress extra math so much. I see so many students that once they start getting into this a little more complicated math, it's not really hard, but it's a little more complicated. And if they don't have the basic math facts already memorized, then they get lost. Because by the time they go to the side and figure out what a basic math fact was, and then return back to the original problem, they've lost their place. And it really makes it harder on the students. So we're going to be finishing up addition and subtraction this quarter. And then we're going to be really focusing on multiplication and division for the second quarter. The essential question, how can I use what I know about multiples and place value to divide decimals and relate it to a written method? Okay, right there. You're using stuff you're already supposed to know, which includes basic math facts. Okay. Let's take a look at these. Now, what we're going to use in order to make this a lot easier is we're going to use reverse operation. Okay. So what I'm talking about, let's take an easier problem first so we understand what we're doing. If I were to take, if I'm looking for 15 divided by 3, looking for the answer to that, well, I know 3 times 5 equals 15. So the inverse operation allows me to know that it has to be 5. And that's the same thing we're going to use on these ones down below. But we're going to use unit form in order to help us. So here it's saying 3 groups of 5/10 equals 1 5/10. So if I was to do the inverse operation on this, I would reword this as 15/10 divided by 3 equals 5/10. So that means 3 groups of 5/10 equals 15/10. And this is how 1.5 would be written in unit form, 15/10. So now we can come back over to the standard algorithm. We know 15/10 divided by 3 equals 5/10. We're writing the standard form, so I'm going to put it as 5/10. Let's look at this one down here that's already done for us, but let's try to understand what we're doing. Now, if we turn down the inverse operation, this is 45 thousandths because the 5 is in the thousandths place. So if I go 45 thousandths divided by 5 groups equals 9 thousandths in each group. So to write it down, I could go 45 thousandths, which we know the 5 would have to go in a thousandths place. So there's 45 thousandths divided by 5 equals 9 thousandths. So we put the 9 in the thousandths place. Same as right there. Okay, complete the number sentence. Express the quotient in units and then standard form. Okay, when you're saying units, talking about place value units. So I'm going to break this up and we're going to use a distributive property. The distributive property is when you take and you divide each place value by the divisor, and the number you're dividing by is the divisor. So if I were to break this out, I would go 9 plus 0.3 plus 0.06. And all I did was kind of do an expanded form. And that's divided by 3. Now, I'm going to take and distribute and divide each one of these numbers by 3. So now I'm going to go 9 divided by 3, and I like putting parentheses in there so I can see it, plus 0 3/10 divided by 3, plus 6/100 divided by 3. Now we know 9 divided by 3, so it's going to give us 3. Now 3/10 divided by 3. 3/10 divided by 3 is going to give me 1/10. Because if I listen to the unit form, 3/10 divided by 3 gives me 1/10. Now I write it as 1/10. 6/100 divided by 3. All I know is 6 divided by 3 equals 2. So 6/100 divided by 3 would give me 2/100. And I'm going to write it as hundreds. When I add them all back together, I would have 3 and 12/100. Now, this also has kind of a unique property. Let's say that I didn't break it down as far. I went 9 plus 36/100. Now, this makes this possible because 36/100 is a multiple of 3. So when I divide this by 3, 9 divided by 3 plus 36/100 divided by 3. Well, we know 9 divided by 3 is 3, plus 36 divided by 3 is going to be 12, but it's 36/100, so it's 12/100. 3 and 12/100. Now you notice we had to do a little, this is a little more efficient. That's all it is. Both ways work well, but this one here is just a little more efficient just because I had what they call compatible numbers when I was dividing. All right, so let's try it again on this one. Now I have 36 and 12/1000 divided by 3. So, and I'm going to do the way I do it up above because I like showing the distributive property. We're going to use this a lot this year. Divided by 3, and we know that's going to be 36 divided by 3 plus, and now I'm working down. I know that 12 is a multiple of 3, so I can just go 12/1000 divided by 3. So we ended up with 36 ones, 12/1000. 36 ones divided by 3 is 12 ones. 12/1000 divided by 3 is 4, and it's thousands, 4 thousandths. So 12 ones and 4 thousandths. So I'll put 12. And now I have to put the 4 in the thousandths place. Find the quotients, then use words, numbers, pictures to describe the relationship you notice between the pair. Well, if we know our multiplication facts and division facts, 48 divided by 8, okay? Well, I know 5 times 8 is 40, 6 times 8 is going to be 48. So if I know 6 times 8 equals 48, that means 48 divided by 8 has to be 6. Now, if I think about this in unit form, this is 48 thousandths divided by 8. Well, I know 48 divided by 8 is 6, so 48 thousandths divided by 8 will be 6 thousandths. And I know 6 thousandths is written like this. Now, if you notice, 48 divided by 8 was equal to 6. 48 divided by 8 was equal to 6. 48 thousandths divided by 8 was equal to 6 thousandths. So I know that the 6 is 1,000 times greater than 6,000. Question number 4. Are the quotients below reasonable? Explain your answers. Okay. Well, once again, I'm going to use unit form. Okay. Just because it's easier to visualize. I can see this here is 54 hundredths. So 54 hundredths divided by 6 equals, well, I know 54 divided by 6 is 9, because 9 times 6 is 54. But it's 54 hundredths divided by 6, or 54 hundredths divided into 6 equal groups, so that's going to be 9 hundredths. So, and I know now that when I rewrite this, it'd be 54 hundredths divided by 6 equals 9 hundredths. And I can see now, comparing these two, the answer was not reasonable because 9 is 100 times larger than 9 hundredths. And it's not reasonable. All right, now let's go to a real world situation. A toy airplane costs $4.84. It costs 4 times as much as a toy car. What does a car cost? What does it cost a toy car? Now, always like to draw stuff to make sense of it, and I like tape diagrams. Now it says, once again, let's go back and read it again. You should always read it at least 3 times. I always read it the first time just to get the gist of what it is. Now I'm going to read for some good content information. A toy airplane costs $4.84. It costs 4 times as much as a toy car. What does cost a toy car? So I know the airplane here costs, this is the cost of the airplane. And this is $4.84. Now it says it costs 4 times as much as a car. So if I was to take this tape diagram and split it into 4 different sections, I know that one section right here would be cost of 1 car, and but 1 toy car. So, and I can see there's 4 sections. So the algebraic expression I would use would be the whole, which is $4.84, divided by 4. And that will give me my answer. So once again, I got a couple different strategies I could use here. The one of them, I'd like a distributed model. So I know I've got 4 ones divided by 4. I could do this a couple different ways, but I'm going to do it the easiest way. And now I have 8 tenths divided by 4 plus, and I don't know why I put a division sign there, that's got to be a plus sign, plus 4/100 divided by 4. DHS. So now when I look at this, I go 4 ones divided by 4 is going to give me 1 1 plus 8/10 divided by 4. I know 8 divided by 4 is 2, so 8/10 divided by 4 has to be 2/10 plus 4/100 divided by 4. Well, now 4 divided by 4 is 1, so 4/100 divided by 4 has to be 100. So when I add these up, I know it's 1 and has 2/10 100ths. So I know each one of these should be $1.21. Now I could verify this because if I add all this up, I should end up with 484. So let's go and do that. 121, 121, 121, and 121. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So it checked. So now we know the answer is 1 and 20/100ths. Now, I could have simplified this. I'm going to come down here in the corner real quick. I could have went with 4 ones divided by 4 plus, because I see that 84 is a multiple of 4, so I could have went 84/100ths divided by 4. But some of you may have a hard time with 84/100. So 4 ones divided by 4 is going to give me 1. And 84/100ths divided by 4 is going to be 20/100ths. Notice both ways gave you the correct answer. Good mathematicians know which strategy is best for them. Use the one that is most effective for you. Remember, effective means you get it right every time. Efficient means it's shorter. Doesn't always mean you get the correct answer. But an effective strategy is one that has the least amount of steps for you that you get the answer right every time. All right. See you in class.